I see the record.
Okay. All right. Hi, Shawn. How are you today?
Great, Joy. How are you?
Awesome. Well, I want to welcome everybody to our SOC Talks with Joy and Shawn here today. We're pretty excited for our third one here. And I hope you all enjoyed them. We really are just speaking from the heart and just kind of like bouncing questions back and forth with each other. I mean, we're human just like everybody else out there, and there's probably many things you can relate to by what we say. But we hope that you're taking something away from every one of these that we do, and tag your team members. Once we post this, we usually post on Thursday night on the official site. So, tag your team members. They might find some good, valuable information in here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this is our fourth one.
Oh, is it our fourth? Okay.
Yeah.
So we got lost
Time flies.
That first one was so fun trying to get recorded in right place.
Right.
I kind of like
So
crossed it off.
So third and a half one, 3.5.
Yeah, but it is out there. So, but anyways, okay. So, geez, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about when you just don't feel like it.
Oh, yeah. Like this morning.
I'll make the call tomorrow. I'll send those cards tomorrow.
It's too late now.
Yeah.
Everybody's eating dinner now, right?
They wouldn't answer the phone. So there's all kinds of excuses. We can probably just do a half hour on all the excuses you could come up with.
Oh, I know.
Not to do it. So.
Yeah, all kinds of things. You talk yourself, oh, it's the weekend,
Yeah.
So anyway, so Shawn, what do you do when you get in those times where it's like, I just don't want to do anything?
So I send cards.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, let's send a couple cards, and that'll get me going. It's the action. I mean, let's just be honest it's the action that's going to take you to where you want to be in this company or anything you do. It's not talking about it. It's not writing it down. It's taking the action and the money-making actions. Let's be honest, the money-making actions that helps us, grow in this company. So I start, if I'm not feeling it, I'll send a couple cards. That always kind of gets me in the mood. I've talked about in the past. I read a great book by Mel Robbins called 5-4-3-2-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's just count down, and when you get to 1, that's your action.
Mm-hmm.
Get in motion. Do, whether it's to make the call, send the text, schedule appointments. So that's my first is always trying to send a couple cards just to get me in the mode. And luckily I don't have, we all have it. I don't have them as often as I think I used to. Part of it is because I think as you continue with send out cards or whatever you're doing, you become better at it. So maybe that fear, because usually it's, if you don't feel like it, it's something's blocking you. It's a fear of, picking up the phone or doing it. So the more you stay consistent, the little action, that's what's built your confidence over time. Mm-hmm. So, and I think what we're going through with Cody's, the My I Am workshop that we're doing is, remember your why are you doing this? What's your core statement? Kind of keep that in the back of your mind to get you, self-motivate you. It's really about if you're not feeling like it, it's because your confidence isn't there right now. Mm-hmm. We all can have an accountability partner. Mm-hmm. It does not have, and I would say more times than not, it probably shouldn't be your upline.
Right.
And it could be somebody, I've had some throughout the year that most of them aren't even in my organization.
Right.
So there's no kind of competition going on. It's just, you want to help them become better and they want to help you become better. So What about you?
Yeah. So, hey, on that note, that ought to be a call sometime on accountability partners and how important they are for our business. Well, I will say that, my most productive days is when I have some kind of schedule, or I have some kind of a block out time, or I have something that I prepare myself for, even if it's early in the morning, kind of thing. If I don't, I have more of a tendency to have those moments like, I'm going to go do laundry first, or I'm going to do this first. And
which is always on the top of people's list, do laundry.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know. For you, for me, I tell you, I had 23 years working in retail prior to starting into network marketing, and that was even prior to send out cards, but I still was home. And the biggest challenge when you get home and start working from home versus going somewhere to work.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a whole, people
Yep.
think it's a gravy train, and it's really not a gravy train. You have to be pretty structured, or you
Absolutely.
find yourself doing those things that you don't want. But for myself, when I get into a slump like that, I do visit the why. I do visit like, okay, Joy, here you are coaching your team to be consistent. Here you are, making sure that everybody does a little bit of something every day that is money-making activity for your business, whatever that is for them, kind of thing. I can't be a slacker,
Right.
I can't not do it myself. And so basically what I do is sending cards is key. I will do that. Sometimes I'll actually even reach out to a team member. Hey, what's your day looking like here today? And that kind of like remotivates me.
Right. 5 appointments.
Yeah.
I got to get it going.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're doing midnight. I gotta get going. They can't do me on one eye. And stuff like that. So that's kind of the big motivation. Is just one of those two things. I mean, I send cards all the time, but I will take a little bit better, aim. Like, okay, so Joy, let's kind of start from the basics. Send so many cards a day. Have you done that yet? Nope. I'm gonna send a couple more. Yeah, and that type of thing. And but honestly, it is hard for me sometimes. Sometimes I do get wrapped up in everything else that I'm doing. It's like, oh, I can do this and I'll do this later. And next thing you feel guilty all day long. So I think blocking time is key. I think if you allow yourself, even if it's 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day to work your business, work the business in that time frame. Commit yourself to doing that, so that if if the rest of the day gets away from you, you've had that commitment, you've had it done.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I have have goals. We've talked in the past, how many SSSs do you have? How many sends do you have? How many scheduled have you had? How many showing the system have you had? And it's whatever works for you. Like you said, if it's 15 minutes a day, it's 15 minutes a day. If it's an hour a week, it's an hour a week. Whatever you can commit to consistently. And you're right, block it out so nothing else gets in the way. And I think if you do that, and again, consistently over time, and then you're not gonna you'll become excited, like, oh, I can't wait till 3 o'clock. It's my hour to send out cards. So,
yeah.
I don't have to do laundry. So that I think you're right on, is what's your daily, weekly goals, and what's your schedule look like, and is it full, and are you filling those times? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, we all go through it, and we still even have days, as you and I are sitting here talking about what you should do. We even don't do that sometimes.
Right.
I mean, it's normal. We're not.
Joy, I do it 100% of the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't. I'll be honest.
No, I don't. No. And I'm sure if you talk to Jordan and our other top leaders, it doesn't matter where you are in the organization.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
Yeah.
Now, they may be turning it around quicker because they train themselves in. A lot of it's mindset. But we're human. We all go through that. But what happens is, especially if you're newer, I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's next week. And then it's 3 months from now, and send out cards didn't work. So the quicker I think you can get into a routine, set your goals. What do you want to accomplish? Get your why. Why is not money. Well, we've talked about that. It's beyond money. What do you want to do with that? Where's that take you? What do you see that going through? But that if you can trigger back to that, I think that'll keep you in action.
Right. Yeah. Two things you mentioned, I kind of mentioned too, and I was going to say is, like, don't get wrapped up with people on Facebook that's saying, oh, this happened today and that happened today and that. All of a sudden your mind starts playing tricks on you, like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything compared to that. Well,
I'm a loser.
They're not on there on the days that they're having like this. They're not on there in the days where, things didn't go well. They're not on there in the days, so don't get wrapped up with what everybody else is doing out there and kind of judge yourself on that. because that's a big pitfall. I mean, that really can be a downer for people, and then the other thing that came to mind as we were talking here too is, part of doing something for your business is follow up. And of all the activities that you do each day, make sure follow-up is a little piece of that, and get out of your head that you're bothering people. Get out of your head that they don't want to hear from you. I mean, we play those games a lot. I think a lot of people do. It's like, I just texted them 2 days ago.
Right.
I'm not going to bother them again. Well, we've got, if they're interested, it's just not right now. But they may have forgotten because they're on to their busy lives too.
All right. It's, I go through that with my networking side of, getting people that I want to be in front of, hear their story. How can I help you? And so last week I went to a LinkedIn local. I got 9 contacts. So that night I come home and I text all of them. Great to meet you. Love to hear more about your story. What's your calendar look like over the next 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. 3 reached out pretty quickly. 3 more the next day, and then I didn't hear from the other ones. So on Tuesday, I went back and said, okay, which ones didn't respond to me? And I just said, hey, what's your calendar look like next week? And all 3 responded. And you're right. It's, you can't think that, oh, what did I say? Oh my gosh, did I bother? They're busy. They may have seen the text and go, and they may have great intent. I'll do that later. I don't have time right now, but I'll respond to Shawn later. But life gets in the way, and then it's 2 days, and then when you reach back out again, and 2 of them said, "Oh, thanks for reaching back out to me." Most
Absolutely.
of them are. So.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And again, that could be another talk about follow-up. But, again, don't approach it like, hey, are you ready to make a decision? Approach it like, hey, you loved what we can possibly do together, or what this system can do for you, or you loved what I was bringing to the table. Always kind of like turn it back to them.
Right.
You're giving them the benefit. You're contacted them because, they saw value in what you said. Kind of thing. And it makes it a lot easier for the follow-up, when you're making those follow-up calls. And sometimes when I get into these, like, okay, I don't feel like doing anything, as our topic is today, it's like, I will go back to my list and just, I'll kind of look, because I make a lot of notes, just kind of look like, well, it has been a while for this person, pick up that phone and do it. And it's so funny because every time I have to force myself sometimes to do that, every time, 3rd or 4th phone call, I've booked an appointment. And I sit there myself in my office and I just chuckle. It's like,
why did you not want to do that?
Why did you wait so long and do this?
Oh my God. Yeah. We are our own worst enemies sometimes.
I know.
We just get out of our head and just do it. It is.
Yeah.
I reached out to I have a lender that I used to work with. I moved her from the points to the 98 a few months ago. We talked about the 2 packages at the time. I was working with her assistant. She said, yeah, let's do this. So today I went to my back office. I'm looking at and I see that she did another order for something beyond the 97. I just sent her a text. Hey, Jen, I just want to talk to you about the group send, the add-on, the system send thing. Oh, that sounds great. Call my assistant. And I said, just so you know, here's the price. Here's what it gets you. It gets you this. Oh, that's perfect. I've been thinking about doing more group sends. I know I need to do more group sends. So it's that prompting.
Yeah.
That I thought of. I thought of her a couple of days ago. I didn't act on it, but I did today. Mm-hmm. And she's been thinking about it. So it is, just do it. Don't. It is it's the 5-second rule, because you can talk yourself out of anything in 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Maybe
we should suggest to everybody get a sign on the top of their computer. And it just says simply, oh, I've been thinking about this. And put yourself in that mindset. Everybody you're calling, you're thinking that's what they're thinking. And
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've been thinking about that.
Exactly. It might make it easier. It's kind of like when you do a speech. People don't like to do speech, and they tell. And I've heard them say, just look at the audience and pretend they're all naked.
No, I've tried that. That's not good. Don't do the
no. Just kind of like that.
Right.
So, well, that's like, getting out of your own head, and this networking group, I posted on Facebook to everybody, and I've been getting a lot of people that appreciated, the 30-second that I had, the 45-second, just kind of like reminding people it's the holidays. And then
Absolutely.
just like simply, whether you have or whether you haven't appreciated your customers over the holiday, I highly recommend you send a Thanksgiving card and just say
Yeah.
thank you. And not just your current customers, your past customers, because they all have had an impact on where you are today.
Right.
And sending that card out can make a huge difference. And it was just like, all of a sudden, it was just like a light bulb for a lot of people, and I booked 3 appointments that day, as people to follow up with, just from that. And these people knew me. Some of them are already customers that are on the old points. Some of them some of them hadn't before, just a multitude of things, but it's just kind of like, and those are the kind of people, I've got those people on there, and one has already done what they wanted to do, and the other 2 were still like playing, to get something on there. Those are the kind of people that when I make that phone call in that downtime, it's like, I need to call them. Let's call them.
Right.
No, it's going to be very uplifting because they've already given you the feedback that that's what.
Sure.
Yep. It's just the time hasn't been right. They went back to their work. They went back to this. They went back to that.
Yeah, life's busy, or we make it. So, okay. So we've got send cards to get the right framing. Remember your why, core statements, accountability partner, schedule. Do you block out times each day to work your business? That, and I think that would not be to send cards. That would be to do follow up or schedule. Yep. Not to have goals, and whatever that works for you during the week, whether you can work your business 1 hour or 10 hours or 20 or 40 hours. And then action, if you're stumped, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5-second rule and hit the ground running.
That's right. Yeah. And that time that you allot yourself every day.
And get out of your own head.
Yeah. Get out of your own head. But that time you allot yourself, if an hour's too long, cut it back to 30 minutes.
Sure. Yep.
Get it to where it's reasonable, easy, or not easy, but reasonable for you, so that you don't have to walk away guilty. You don't have to walk away. Nothing is worse than having an entire day where you knew you needed to do something for your business, but it was always like, I'm doing, you're not doing it. And you go to bed that night, it's like, I did not work my business.
Well, then we beat ourselves up for it, and
it's nothing. You don't enjoy anything because
lighten up, Francis. Give yourself a break. It happens to all of us. It's not just you. I promise you that. So
yeah, exactly. So okay, well, that's great. And I think this is a wrap for today, but we're pretty excited because next week we get
what do we got going on next week?
Oh, I think we have Mr. Greg Briers on our call.
Absolutely.
So, I know. Very excited for that. And so, stay tuned. We'll see how many people listen to the end of this when we tell them about Greg being on next week, right?
Well, and it's going to be fun because we're not going to ask there may be a couple, but we're not going to ask the typical CEO questions, running send out cards, but more, and this came from Joy. I appreciate that, is, more about when, kind of when he was affiliate and what worked well and what drove him and Melanie. And so we're going to really talk to him and just kind of like this, we'll throw a couple subjects at him and just have a conversation with him and see where that goes. So it's going to be fun. Yeah. Next week, you don't want to miss it. Yep.
And we're lining up other people down the road too to kind of join us on our.
We have Brad Pitt coming up later in the month.
Yeah, we got lots of things happening. So
absolutely,
we're glad here. We hope we're helping everybody. I mean, I know I'm really enjoying and I'm just doing this because I'm listening to Shawn's answers, so he helps me. So it's going to be all good.
Likewise, what really the truth is. We all get it from Joy. So likewise.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's great to feed off each other. I really appreciate it, Shawn, and I appreciate you, and appreciate everybody out there listening. And we'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.